The Boston Celtics own 3 first-round draft picks in the 2020 NBA Draft, and the best of those 3 comes at the end of the lottery at number 14. Now, that pick, which comes over from the Memphis Grizzlies, will honestly allow them to immediately add a player that can make an impact on a team that already made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, what exactly they're going to need at 14, that remains to be seen, but the Celtics also own the 26th pick, which is their own, and the Bucks pick at number 30. Now, will they keep all 3? Who knows? But if they do keep all 3, I think these are their biggest needs, and they need to be addressed in the NBA Draft. Number 1 is that backup point guard position, and we'll talk more about that later, but Brad Wanamaker just ain't cutting it. Now, I love Marcus Smart, but I'd rather have a playmaking point guard as well that can play alongside Smart off the bench. Speaking of players off the bench, that's something they are very desperately lacking, off-the-bench scoring. We saw them exposed in the conference finals for not being able to score with guys like Marcus Smart, Brad Wanamaker, or Enes Kanter as your best offensive option off the bench, so that needs to be addressed, and when you have 3 draft picks, you're able to do that. At number 3, my number 3 need for the Boston Celtics, that is the center depth position. Obviously, they have Daniel Theis starting right now, but I'm not 100% sure that Daniel Theis is the long-term answer for a team that's looking to make a championship run with guys like Kemba Walker and Gordon Hayward really past their prime in a smaller championship window. They also have Enes Kanter and Robert Williams. All these guys are okay, but if you have 3 first-round draft picks, you might as well address that center position by drafting a solid center. Now, we're going to be live for the NBA Draft, and we always have the absolute best NBA Draft coverage on the internet. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do, and make sure you hit that notification bell because you guys might miss it, and I don't want you to miss a single thing as we'll be live from the first round all the way to the end of the second round. Now, in my mock draft, I have the Boston Celtics taking Cole Anthony at 14 overall. That is their first of 3 picks. And listen, Cole Anthony, he is an elite athlete, and he can score the ball in bunches. No, he's not a pass-first point guard. He's more of a shooting guard in a point guard's body. And injuries held him back a little bit at North Carolina, but when he played, he was electric and a lot of fun to watch. 19 points per game, 5.7 rebounds, and 4 assists. What a guy like Cole Anthony does for this Boston Celtics team is it gives them a solid option off the bench at point guard besides Brad Wanamaker, and it gives them offensive firepower off the bench, which they do not have right now. Their bench struggles quite a bit. Their leading guy off the bench, besides Marcus Smart, who I'm not including because he started most of their games, was Brad Wanamaker at 19 minutes per game. He averaged 7 points. And then it was Enes Kanter, Grant Williams, Semi Ojeleye, who didn't even play in the playoffs, and Robert Williams, who is basically a spot player when Enes Kanter is struggling a little bit. And when Brad Wanamaker is your backup point guard, he does not want to make me play him anymore. I'd rather have Cole Anthony than Brad Wanamaker as my backup. But you guys can decide. With their first of 3 picks, who should the Celtics draft? So that pick comes in at number 14 from the Memphis Grizzlies. Who do they need to add to kind of push them over the edge? You guys decide in the comment section below. At 26, I've got the Boston Celtics taking Daniel Oturu out of Minnesota, followed by Tyrell Terry out of Stanford going to the New York Knicks. Now, first pick, I had the Knicks taking a big man. Now I've got them taking a guard that I think is going to benefit a lot from the draft combine. The Lakers get Nico Mannion at 28 out of Arizona, a kid who balled out in high school but didn't have a great freshman year. And then Trey Jones, an experienced point guard out of Duke, going to the Toronto Raptors, followed by the final pick in the first round, Desmond Bane out of TCU. Now, with their second pick in the first round, I do have the Celtics taking a big man, which really addresses one of their needs, and that is the center position. He's not polished offensively, but the dude can score in bunches, as in his second year in Minnesota, he showed and proved on a consistent basis. He averaged 20.1 points per game, 11 rebounds, blocked 2.5 shots, and although he didn't shoot a ton of threes, when he did shoot them, he shot them efficiently at 36.5%. He really benefited from staying an extra year in college, and if the Celtics can get him at 26, you absolutely have to take him because your depth chart at the center position is not that strong. Daniel Tice is solid, I agree, but he's 6'8". That's not very good for a starting center in the NBA. Enes Kanter's probably gone after this year anyway. Robert Williams is super unreliable. You cannot rely on him to be your main backup big man. That's why I think Oturu might be the answer there. And then two guys who barely even played this year, Vincent Poirier, and of course everyone's favorite, Taco Fall, are not guys that you're going to look to for answers. So use one of your 3 first-round picks on a big man, and if Oturu is available at 26, I promise you that's going to be a steal. Now, something else that's a steal is the deal from Fanatics that's going on right now. When you go to chatsports.com/NBA mask, you can get your favorite team mask today, and you can get them one, or you can get them in packs of 2, packs of 3, or packs of 4. Whoever your favorite team is, whoever you're cheering for in the finals, whoever you've been cheering for all throughout the NBA season, whoever you're hoping drafts well in the NBA draft, you can get those at chatsports.com/NBA mask. Don't miss this awesome deal. Use that custom link today, chatsports.com/NBA mask. Now, the final guy I have the Boston Celtics taking in the number 30 overall pick, which is the Bucks pick, is Desmond Bane out of TCU. He is an upperclassman guy with a really high basketball IQ. He's a good athlete, although he's not exceptionally quick. He doesn't handle the ball that well. He can score from wherever you need him to, and he's an incredible defensive option on the wings. At TCU this past year, he put up 17 points per game, dished out 4 assists, pulled down 6 rebounds, which is great for a guard, and that three-point shooting is what made him so lethal and what should get him drafted in the first round of this year's draft at 44.2%. I really like what I have the Boston Celtics getting out of this draft. If they can get Cole Anthony at 14, that answers a ton of questions for them on the bench. It gives them a scorer, and it gives them a true backup point guard. If they can get Daniel Oturu at 26, that addresses another need where they're probably not using guys like Enes Kanter or Vincent Poirier or Taco Fall as a backup position. And finally, Desmond Bane out at 30. If this is the haul the Celtics come away with in this year's draft, they are going to walk away as huge winners, in my opinion. Now, you guys are always unhappy with something that I do in my mock draft, so let me know what it is this time around. Who did I disrespect the absolute most? Maybe you still think it's James Wiseman. Maybe you think it's Obi Toppin. Maybe you think it's Daniel Oturu. Whoever you think I disrespected the most in this year or this version of my mock draft, just let me know and give me all the hate in the comment section below.